Hello, fellow human. Welcome to day 12. I think this is day 12 of my 30-day talk to camera challenge. Today's topic is, where do I see myself in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? And I gotta tell you, I don't know who can answer that question. At least in the world where I feel like I'm living, there's too many corners between now and 20 years. Certainly within the next 10 years, there's too many unknowns, too many potential points of disruption. And even 5 years seems like a stretch to me, to be able to say, where do I think that I'm gonna be? If the question were, what are goals? That's a different thing. But I'm going to answer this question as it was posed. Where do you see yourself? And the answer is, it's a giant blind spot there. We are off the map at that point. What I think I can do is to say, how's 2025 going to play out in my mind? I've got a few things planned, and I've got some strategies for things that I need to do this year. And so I'm going to explain those. Here we are at the beginning of March. I think this might be the 6th or 7th. I'd have to check to be sure. But what I can say is that for the rest of March, I've got some time in Mexico next week. The wife and I are going down to enjoy some time by the pool and get some frozen drinks, etc., etc. Work on the tan a little bit. Hey, that's going to be next week. And then I've got another 2 weeks after that until I leave for Spain. And most of April and most of May are going to be spending time in Spain. Hello. Hi, cuties. Oh, look at a little puppy. Adorable. So April and May are mostly, hey goose, mostly walking the Camino with any luck. Again, if I avoid disaster. Boy, those guys are angry about something. There they go. Anyway, April and May, walking the Camino, hopefully avoiding disaster. And I'm not sure what that experience is going to teach me. But that's part of the reason why I'm having a hard time seeing out 5 years in the future. Is because I think there is a reasonable chance that I learn something about myself during my Camino. Potentially, I have the intent of walking with some meditations in mind, and I would like to really focus on spending a lot of time thinking about, what do I want to do? Who do I want to do it for? And things like that. Obviously, I see myself still remaining in the world of project management or PMO, and I don't think that's going to change. I've invested a lot of effort in my career, and I really like it. I like the work, but I have no idea. If you were to put a piece of paper in front of me and say, list 10 companies you want to work for, or write down the industry you'd like to target, I have no idea. For me, it's like art. I don't know how to describe it, but I'll know it when I see it. And that's how I'm approaching my thoughts as I walk the Camino, to hopefully gain some clarity over what is truly important for me, so that then when I come back and I start talking to people, I can align my job search to companies and roles that support my belief system and my values. It's a very privileged position to be in, but I've worked hard to set myself up for it. And, if we get towards the end of the year and I've had no traction, then I may be willing to compromise on some of those things in the interest of survival. So I'm going to walk and be open to all the experiences that occur, meet people, see things, think about myself. And that's why, the distant future is definitely a big gray spot for me. When I come back, I'm going to, I hope, hit the ground running with both feet on my job search, at least opening those doors and beginning those conversations. And I anticipate that should take 2 or maybe 3 months. Of course, I hear all the stories and I read probably too many pieces of content on Reddit about massive layoffs and people, even professionals with a lot of credentials and experience in network, having trouble finding a job. But I also need to be aware of the biases of the information that's being presented to me, because I do know people that have lost their jobs in the last year, and they've had no problem finding another role. I don't know all the context around these things. Did those people settle for something, or the people that I'm reading about that are having trouble and have been looking for a job for a year or something like that, are they real people? Are those real stories? Are their requirements out of line? Are they shooting too high? There's just too much information for me to really understand and sort through what's true and what's not. So all I can do is put myself in a good position to be productive and start working towards the things I want. At any rate, I expect June, July, maybe August. Hopefully by the end of August, I have landed a new role. And then depending on what kind of role and what kind of organization and what industry will determine what happens during the very last months of the year. If I'm working in a new industry, the on-ramp is going to be a little bit slower for me. If I'm working within, PM consulting or a PMO or an industry that I've been in before, it's going to make that transition a lot faster. And, it's entirely possible also that I end up doing something that is not project management. It's a possibility. You have to consider it. So I don't exactly know, but I do know that if I don't have my new role lined up by the end of 2025, something has gone terribly wrong, and I need to perhaps recalibrate and pivot on my strategy, because then it becomes a point where I would be compromising my future, and certainly having a difficult time surviving and supporting my family. So I think that's it. I really don't know how anyone can see 5 years in the future, especially in the times we live in. Let me just, without being hyperbolic about it, AI seems to be on the precipice of either revealing its failure, or if it's not smoke and mirrors and there's something to it, which I think is the case, all it takes is one day. One significant advancement changes the texture of the entire playing field. And so it's really, really hard to see around those corners. All you can do is, for me, at least my approach, all I can do is make incremental improvements every day that get me closer to the life I want to lead. And in the meantime, don't take anything for granted. Enjoy your days. They could be numbered They could be taken from us at any time. Life could change dramatically at any moment. So I think my approach is to have a rough game plan, be willing to pivot, and don't be so focused on what's coming next that I am not enjoying what's happening right now. Because in the absence of anything else, right now is all we've got. Maybe that'll be something I talk about in a future video, because you could wax poetic and philosophize about that concept. So maybe I will, maybe I won't. Anyway, I think that's day 12. If it is, and you're watching, thanks for listening to me go on and on. We are getting so close to the halfway point of this 30-day talk to camera challenge, and it makes me think, I wish I would have started 2 weeks earlier when I first wanted to. There was a 2-week period before I even pressed record on the camera because I was too nervous, self-conscious. The thought of it was unsettling and uncomfortable. I've gotten over that. But now it makes me sad, because if I would have started 2 weeks before I did, I'd be just a couple days from done. Anyway, enjoy your day. We'll talk to you soon. Ciao.